All right, all right. WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye coming up. Get them started, baby. Cue up the theme music. Hey, Steve, I see you, bro. All right. I'm kind of on time, y'all. How you like that? Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego diddling. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs, your host and third eye optometrist. Yes, indeed, ready to get it started, ready to get your eye open. All right. I got to do something because I'm pretty sure we're going to have some new listeners and what have you, some people tuning in. That's right. I'm going to tell you about the open eye. I've done this and I do it periodically. The speed of communication is wondrous to behold. It is also true that that speed can multiply the distribution of information that we know to be untrue. That's a quote from Edward R. Murrow. For those of you that don't know or may not know who Edward R. Murrow was, he was the prototype of broadcast journalism. And this is who everybody in broadcast journalism should take their cue from. To learn more about him, look at a movie called Good Luck, Good Night, which was his closing line. In the current 24-second news cycle, information reaches the masses at blinding speed. Unfortunately, this information is often poorly researched and filled with falsehoods and misinformation. This leaves us with an uneducated, uninformed, misled, misinformed community. Mainstream media, which is completely corporate owned, has become nothing more than stenographers and mouthpieces for the powers that be, rarely exploring or investigating anything beyond what they are told. Mainstream journalism has become a joke. The joke is fair and balanced reporting. Unfortunately, it is a joke on the uninformed, misinformed community. Another Edward R. Murrow quote. I simply cannot accept that there are, on every story, two equal and logical sides to an argument. Read that again. It's from Edward R. Murrow. I simply cannot accept that there are, on every story, two equal and logical sides to an argument. Basically, somebody's wrong. That fair and balance is crap, man. You know, there are 1,500 newspapers, 1,100 magazines, 9,000 radio stations, 1,500 TV stations, 2,400 publishers, owned by only 3 corporations. What's up, Vaughn? Welcome to the Open Eye Radio Show. What is the Open Eye about? The Open Eye Radio Show is about keeping your vision clear. The Open Eye is about well-researched, accurate reporting and honest, fearless, social political commentary free of corporate influence. A community must have information not based on emotionalism, sensationalism, or manipulation, but information that is well analyzed, clear, and concise, that will educate the community. We must control the propaganda. We understand the importance of this. It's for this reason we have decided to take on the responsibility of keeping our community well informed. Join us every Saturday, 11 a.m. on WHGE 95.3 and on Facebook. The Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs. All right, let me get my disclaimer out the way. All right. The views and opinions expressed on the Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM, nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual. WHGE 95.3 FM. Let's see. I'm going to talk about some history. Wait a minute. Isn't this March the 4th? Black History Month is over. What are you talking about? Well, anybody that listens to the Open Eye knows that we don't wait until February and we don't stop talking about our history once Black History Month is passed. Okay, that is not the purpose of Black History Month. Black History Month was a catalyst to expand on our history, to focus on it in February and keep that focus going throughout the year. All right, check this out. How many people do you know who are athletes? How about an athlete who has won 15 varsity letters in 4 different sports? An athlete who has also played professional football while at the same time being valedictorian at his university. Does this athlete also hold a law degree? How many scholar athlete performers can you name? Concert artists who have sold out shows around the world and who can perform in more than 25 different languages. Does a scholar athlete performer also act in Shakespearean and Broadway plays and movies? Yeah, Steve, I know you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Can you not identify a scholar athlete performer who is also an activist for civil and human rights? Someone who petitioned the President of the United States of America for an anti-lynching law, promoted African self-rule, helped victims of the Spanish Civil War, fought for India's independence, and championed equality for all human rights, for all human beings? Did this scholar, athlete, performer, activist also have to endure terrorism, band performances, racism, and discrimination throughout his career? Who am I talking about? Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson was all these things and more. He was the son of a former slave, born and raised during a period of segregation, lynching, and open racism. He earned a 4-year scholarship to Rutgers University, making him the third African American to attend the school. There he was a member of the prestigious Cap and Skull Honor Society. Played 4 varsity sports, baseball, football, basketball, and track. Won speech and debate tournaments, and managed to graduate valedictorian of his class. After graduation, Robeson applied his athletic abilities to a short career in professional football. Aside from his prowess on the gridiron, he earned a law degree and changed the direction of his career. His legal career was cut short, however, after a secretary refused to take dictation from him, solely because of the color of his skin. He left law and returned to his childhood love of acting and singing. Robeson starred in Shakespeare's Othello. He starred in the musical Showboat and films such as Jericho, The Proud Valley, and let us not forget The Emperor Jones. He was one of the top performers of his time, earning more money than many white entertainers. His concert career spanned the globe: Vienna, Prague, Budapest, Berlin, Paris, Amsterdam, London, Moscow, Nairobi, and New York. Robeson's travels opened his awareness to the universality of human suffering and oppression. He began to use his rich bass voice to speak out for independence, freedom, and equality for all people. He believed that artists should use their talents and exposure to aid causes around the world. The artist must elect to fight for freedom or slavery. "I have made my choice," he said. This philosophy drove Robeson to Spain during the Civil War, to Africa to promote self-determination, to India to aid in the independence movement, to London to fight for labor rights, and to the Soviet Union to promote anti-fascism. It was in the Soviet Union where he felt that people were treated equally. He could eat in any restaurant and walk through the front doors of hotels, but in his own country, he faced discrimination and racism everywhere he went. While Robeson's activist role increased abroad, he met dissent and intimidation in the United States. Rioters at his concert at Peekskill, New York in 1949, smashed the stage, torched the chairs, attacked the concert goers, and threatened Robeson's life. His outspokenness about human rights and his pro-Soviet stance made Robeson a prime target of militant anti-communists. In 1950, the State Department revoked his passport, therefore denying his right to travel and ultimately to earn income abroad. Rosen fought for this injustice for years. He fought this injustice for years, vigorously, but with no success. He repeatedly applied for reinstatement of his passport, but was turned down. So he filed a lawsuit against the State Department and faced discouraging delays, adverse decisions, and rejected appeals. Yet Rosen stuck to his principles and refused to swear an affidavit that he was not a communist. Whether I am or not a communist is irrelevant, he told the House Un-American Activities Committee in 1956. The question is whether American citizens, regardless of their political beliefs or sympathies, may enjoy their constitutional rights. In 1958, the U.S. Supreme Court finally agreed, ruling that the State Department could not deny citizens the right to travel because of their political beliefs or affiliations. To celebrate, Rosen gave his first New York concert in a decade at a sold-out Carnegie Hall. But the years of struggle had taken a personal and professional toll. Negative public response and the ban on his travel led to the demise of his career. Before the 1950s, Rosen was one of the most famous entertainers and beloved American heroes, once being named Man of the Year by the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Despite all his accomplishments, Paul Robeson remains virtually ignored in American textbook and history. That's unacceptable. If you haven't learned about Paul Robeson, please do. Please do. Robeson, let's see, he published his autobiography, Here I Stand, in 1958. Which was the same year his passport was reinstated. Robeson and his family returned to the United States in 1963. After his wife's death in 1965, the artist lived with his sister. He died from a stroke on January 23rd, 1976, at the age of 77 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which I still remember. I was 16. And, of course, being Jane Gibbs' son, I was made sure, no, not that. She made sure that, I knew one of our greatest heroes, Paul Robeson. If you haven't learned about him, please do. This is Open Eye. Welcome, Nsoromma. How you doing, brother?
Yaga, wagwan, chop.
That's word. Got a lot going on here today. I actually came in on time.
Right.
Yeah. Don't nobody talk no smack about me being on time.
Yo.
That's word, because whenever I show up, I'm on time. You don't like that? Find another station to listen to.
What's good, G?
Everything's everything. Get a little music break here.
Right.
Before I move on to...
I said what's up to my bro. What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
All right. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye.
Yaga, yo, Steve, Vaughn, yo, Dev, what's good, Zach? Hey, yo, what's going down, Zach? Yo, I want to come to Florida and link up, you know what I mean? Tasty food. Hey, yo, Mark, where you at? Let me know when you opening something else, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you got good food, baby boy. Tasty food, yo. Hey, Smooth, hit me. I called you, never called me back. You better start handling your business, for real. But anyway, on to the other thing. Yo, Zach, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna come. Hey, yo, how you doing, bro?
All right. WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yup.
Yes, the advocacy education station.
That's
if you're
right.
tuned in here, you got an education. This week, Thursday evening, I was honored by some of my Facebook friends to join their discussion group.
Okay.
Okay.
You get kicked out?
Oh no. No.
I thought you were in there on them.
Oh no. Actually, I was special guest with a lot of like-minded, conscious people.
Oh, what?
And yeah. And I really enjoyed it. I really appreciated them inviting me. And,
right.
Included Sister Tracy Johnson and Brother Jardea, who was who actually invited me and what have you.
Word.
And we talked about quite a few things and what have you. I'll show you the video, brother.
All right, that's
where WHGE 95.3 FM. Let me tell y'all something.
What you gonna tell them?
I'm gonna tell them, look, choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought.
Right.
I think I had mentioned last week that if you got stupid, ignorant people, you're gonna get stupid, ignorant leaders.
And
yeah,
so true.
Yeah. To be led by a coward is to be controlled by all that coward fears.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Look at the MAGA cult, the Trump cult. Okay, they taking on all of his bigotry and fear and what have you. You know, of course, a lot of them that was already there for them, and he just spoke to it. That's why they love him so much. To be led by a fool, y'all hear that? And to be led by the opportunists who control that fool. And that's what happened to you MAGA people. You're led by a fool. And yeah, you know, and the opportunists that were manipulating him manipulated you with your dumb ass.
Well, tell me something, bro. Do you think Trump is better than Biden or Biden is better than Trump? What would the situation be? What you think?
I'm going to tell you about
who's the better or the worse?
Okay. I'm going to tell you like this.
Both of them worse, but who the better or the worse?
First of all, you got to remember, Trump is barely literate. Okay?
Trump is barely literate.
Yes. Yes, he's barely literate.
But he can say some stuff on you. Don't get it twisted.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
He reading.
Yeah, he reading on the 8th grade level. Whoever wrote it up for him, they knew not to put those big words in there that jammed him up with his dumb ass. Get out of here. You kidding me? Yeah, that's word. On top of which, he's a narcissist. He cares nothing about anyone but himself.
Right. And the money.
And the money.
Right.
And the money.
So, do you think we'll be in a better position with the money situation? I mean, I don't know. It was a question. I asked the question, which was the better one?
The difference is that Biden is a more competent politician, which actually makes him more dangerous. Okay?
Competent? I thought he was getting Alzheimer's. He don't remember nothing.
Yeah.
Biden,
but he's still more competent than Trump.
I still think he worse.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
These Trump be talking about real issues about how they doing the children in school, giving kids their own. A 5-year-old, you got the right to say if you're a boy or girl or not. You don't even know if your brain ain't even working right. So I mean, it's like certain things that Trump be hitting on that's going on.
Like I said, a broken clock is right twice a day.
But he was right more than twice a day. So
not much more. Not much more. He's really, and don't forget, you know, of course, they're two sides of the same coin, and I often call Joe Biden Jim Crow Joe. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? But Biden is not as open, okay, or blatant with his bigotry as Trump is. You know? See, Trump says things just to appeal to people. So yeah, he might say some right things and what have you.
Right.
All right. But the right things that he's saying is nothing more than to appeal to his base. You know, so you know, and then you got some Negro peons that fall right in line and say, oh yeah, well, you know, Trump's the man because he said this and he said that.
My boy said he the man because he sent them a check.
Well, you know what?
Be easy.
You know what? Let me tell you something.
Hey.
You send me a check, you're going to be my boy right up until I get that money in my pocket. Then you can go to hell. I got the money there. The hell with you. Because you still a sorry son of a bitch.
I do that was coming.
Yeah, buddy.
I heard that one unwound.
That's word. And see, to be led by a thief,
Right.
which Trump is,
Okay.
okay, is to offer up your most precious treasure to be stolen. Okay? And that's the money we got to live on.
Wow.
To be led by a liar, which most of these politicians are.
And
but
police.
You know how you can tell Trump lying?
How?
And he opened his damn mouth. Soon he opened his mouth. Yup, he lying. Yeah.
He can go sunny and it's raining.
Yeah.
You know, my God.
To be led by a liar, you just asking to be told lies. And look what he did when he lost the election. You know, he pushed for an insurrection. Because he wanted to be a tyrant. And to be led by a tyrant is to sell yourself to those and those you love into slavery. So be careful who we compliment here. You know, because ain't nothing worse than a racist son of a bitch. Boom! You know, who fools people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Get him, Pat.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, I'm gonna go back to history here.
Right.
I'm gonna break it down. Why?
Why?
Okay. Ancient Kemet.
Okay.
Their achievements. And these were the first people to divide a day into 24 hours. A clock. They were the first to build the world's first monumental stone structure. They produced the world's first physician in Imhotep. They invented the 365-day calendar. They're the first civilization to create a police force. Because they let some of them mayonnaise brigade people in from Asia. They let some of them in, right? And they saw these people was going to act up. They said, you know what, look, let me get some of these soldiers over here. Y'all patrol around here. This is where some of these YT people are. And what have you. And you gotta watch them because they're a little uncivilized here.
Wow. And they say we the ones uncivilized.
That's right.
Yo, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
How they flip everything, man.
You know?
All right.
You know, now remember, the ancient Egyptians, they were clean people.
Right.
So they were the first people to invent the act of male circumcision. Okay? Which they did for health reasons. And of course, in the Bible, it tells you that Abraham was the first man to be circumcised. Right? The Egyptians were doing it thousands of years before, and it was for health.
Yeah.
That's what it was for. They created the world's first ever prosthetic body parts. Okay? We didn't really do prosthetics in Western culture,
right,
until after the Civil War, and then they would just, you know, pretty much, you know, you lost your leg, they tie a stick on your leg and say, all right, you can walk, go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, they invented medical surgery. They invented toothpaste. All right, you go, even now, you go to London,
right,
all right, they got some of the worst oral health you ever seen. You want to see some people with some raggedy ass teeth? Go to London. I mean, go to England, Britain, and what have you.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. That's why when Africans came in contact with these Europeans,
right,
a lot of times they put a lot of oils on and they carried handkerchiefs that were scented. That's because these goddamn people stink. And they talk to you and damn near knock you out. Yeah, that's word. I think the Europeans invented bad breath. Jeez Louise.
Oh boy.
And you know what? The ancient Kemet invented breath mints. I wonder why. Yeah. That's right.
See, some people got bad breath and don't know they got bad breath until
Right.
you tell them, you know, they have a bad tooth and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you offer them a mint.
Yeah.
You know?
And then they'll go, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, you're not good.
No,
Take this mint, my
that's
brother
right.
and sister.
You know,
Talking
the
about.
ancient Egyptians was giving out mints like candy. You know, you was like, hey, you know what? Hey, try this. It tastes real good. That's right.
Yo, he crazy.
Yeah. They invented the door lock. They invented the door lock. Why? Because they let some of them people in
And started
taking
them out.
They had to lock the door.
And they ain't never had to do that before they came in
No.
onto their land or whatever, into their village or their community or whatever. Yeah.
You know, I can remember before integration really took hold and the influence on some of our people from the dominant society.
Right.
Okay. I can remember plenty of my neighbors whose doors stayed unlocked all the time.
Oh yeah, it was a time that they didn't even lock their doors because it wasn't even about stealing from your brother and sister or whatever.
Right.
It was about sharing.
That's right.
You got some sugar, I ain't got no sugar. You got some bread, I ain't got no bread. It was like the community was more looking out for each other, using that method that our ancient ancestors was running.
That's
you
right.
know?
You know, and of course they were the first to invent black ink for writing. Yeah, and they also invented paper. They created the world's oldest known religious text. Okay? The book of Coming Forth by Day and Night. I remember one time this brother came to the print shop and told me, hey man, I got something for you, man. You want to buy this? I was like, cool, what is it? Yeah, I had the original African Bible. I was like, what? You have the book of Coming Forth by Day and Night?
Right.
He looked at me with this big blank look on his face. He said, "Here, let me go get it." He comes back with a King James Bible with black pictures in it. I said, well, you didn't just dip the mythology in chocolate, and now you're going to run this up under me. You get out of here. I'm getting you a dime.
Wow.
I swear. Yo, you know, they invented alchemy, scissors, condoms, mathematics, bowling, the ramp, the lever, geometry. And the list goes on and on. And you know something real interesting? All of these inventions and what have you could be found in ancient Rome.
I mean, Rome had a lot of black people in it anyway.
All
their religions have black faces on a lot of their things, but they don't expose them to us.
Of course not.
You know, and that's that they always whitewashing the situation.
Oh yeah,
you know, whatever it may be.
Oh yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. Have you ever heard of the Etruscans?
Etruscans.
The Etruscans. Okay. The Etruscan people populated a large region in what is now Tuscany and Lombardy in Italy. Okay? But they're probably not what you picture in your head when you think of Italians.
Right.
Okay? Don't lie. I know when I said Italians, especially some of you young people, was thinking of the Super Mario Brothers. No. You know what?
What?
The evidence suggests that the Etruscans were dark-skinned people who traveled from Africa and several parts of Europe. Not only did the Etruscan settlement predate ancient Rome and Greek civilization, and greatly influence other cultures of Rome. The contributions of black cultures on the Roman Empire have been sadly, like Nsoromma said, whitewashed by Eurocentric historians. And let me tell you something about the Etruscans, okay? A lot of their artifacts, okay, their building, their infrastructure, came directly from Kemet. Not only that, but they revered the Kemetic deity Ra, Amun-Ra. Okay? And they thrived around the 5th century BC.
Because they had some amazing architects, man.
Oh yeah. Their sewage system. Okay? Their sewage system.
Sewage or sword?
Sewage. Oh. You know, getting rid of the waste.
Yeah,
sewage and what have you. And their water systems and what have you. Okay? Were more advanced in ancient Rome than they were throughout the United States up until probably the 1920s.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. Because they had toilets and what have you. Hell, I could remember in my lifetime going down the country and having to use the outhouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Way over there at night.
Way over there.
Hey, yo.
The Etruscans, okay, in their cities had night lights, had paved sidewalks. All right? And this is before the Romans even came along. And then when these thugs known as the Romans came along,
right,
these people were so uncivilized and violent that the Etruscans said, you know what, we're going to shut this whole thing down and go back home. And they went on back to Africa. Right. Now, mythology tells us that Rome was founded by the twins Romulus and Remus, orphans who spent their childhood suckling a wild wolf, meaning, you know, they were breastfed by a wild wolf.
Right.
That's the Roman mythology. And you wonder why these people act like that.
Wow.
But evidence suggests that the city may have been established by the Etruscans before they left. For example, some of the structures of ancient Rome predate the presence of the Romans and appear to be similar to building practices of the Etruscans and building practices of the ancient Kemite.
Brother Jardine said, what happened to him?
What happened to him was, you know, those Europeans,
right,
Neanderthal, Cro-Magnons.
Boob? I thought I had to get a boob in there because you know, when he starts saying the names like that, you gotta watch out for the.
Yes, it did. Yeah, what happened to him when these people came in? Many of the Etruscans left. You had a few that stayed around and continued to civilize, you know, some of the Romans or what have you. You know, but yeah, for the most part, they got the hell up out of there. They wasn't dealing with them thugs.
Okay.
You know, and who can blame them? Who could blame them? Because you deal with them thugs, man. You know, you're looking at some uncivilized mess. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye.
Yaga! Thickums! Wagwa! Yet, what's good? Hey, yo, Arthur! Ames, what's happening, man? Ain't nothing. Doing what we do. Jardine, boy, you stupid. That's all gravy now, you know what I mean? Asante. Yeah. It's messy. Implosion in the building. Yo, streaming all platforms. Nsoromma, go get that.
All right.
Yo, who was that playing?
That was me.
That was you?
That was me.
Man, that sounded wonderful.
Thank you, brother. That was a tune called Early Summer.
Early Summer.
Yes, indeed. By Patrice Gibbs.
All streaming platforms.
Streaming all platforms.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, indeed.
Go get that.
All right. Look.
What?
One of the things that came up during Thursday night's discussion was a gentleman whose name I couldn't remember at the time. Okay, and that was Rwandan President Paul Kagame.
Oh, yo, man, I like him.
Yes, indeed.
I don't care.
Yeah, buddy.
I just like him for some reason, man.
Buddy. You know, he took center stage on the sidelines of the European Development Day in Brussels, where he lashed out at human rights records of his country during an interview with France's 24, Kathleen Nicholson.
Okay.
He told her it's rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. Rwanda is completely different from what it was 25 years ago.
Definitely.
In fact, maybe you need to be looking around in Europe because you are violating people's rights when you have people being bundled and sent back to sink in the Mediterranean and so on. See, here's the thing. This is what he's talking about. All right. Remember, Europe colonized Africa. And a lot of the things they did were economically, socially, and what have you, very detrimental to our people and their well-being. And they left some of these societies in shambles. And so when these societies gained their independence from the Europeans, many Europeans destroyed the infrastructure that they had forced the colonized Africans to build. And then they left.
Right.
So now you have Africans dealing with substandard conditions in their society, education, so on and so forth, and then with some economic crap. So feeding into the propaganda
right.
that the Europeans are doing well and this, that, and the other, some of our African brothers decided they're going to leave home and go to Europe. And of course, the Europeans, when they get there, you know, with their racist ass selves,
don't want you.
Don't want you.
Right, don't want you in that area.
After they came in your house and tore stuff up, and then had the nerve to act a fool when you come to their house, just to get some semblance of humanity. And what they did with some of them is put them back on the boat and send them back across the Mediterranean. They didn't give a damn whether the boat was seaworthy or not. Same thing the Americans do with the Haitians. And let them sink and die in the sea. And that's what the brother is talking about when he said sink in the Mediterranean and so on. And so many people demonstrating in your own countries. Why don't talk about your human rights than offloading everything on Rwanda?
Right.
He said he ain't having it. See, if he had just went along with the European propaganda and put up with the crap that they putting down, he told them, look,
wow,
let's stop the superiority complex nonsense. Because that's what it is. Now, Paul Kagame is one of the most outspoken African leaders who address the most unpleasant issues head on.
Is he the same dude, right? I just was reading something, scanning it, and it was like this particular president of the Africa or the country or whatever had, you know, it was some gay stuff going on with two guys or something, and it was against their religion, so he locked them up, and they was like, well, when they gonna get out? And he said, when one of them get pregnant, I'll let them go. They get out when one of them get pregnant.
Hey, there you go. See, hey, I'll tell you what's going on with that. That was actually in Uganda.
Oh, okay. I know. I've seen it somewhere.
And the United States have been putting sanctions on African countries because they won't accept the homosexuality.
Right. We ain't believe in that.
Right.
We ain't
believe in
they trying to force it up on them. Yeah.
So they're trying to force it on them.
Yeah, man, that's
crazy. So, you know, we're going to put economic sanctions on your country if you, caught myself there, if you don't accept the homosexuality.
Yeah, but you the way they treat black people and racism, how does that? How can that compare? That's no comparison.
Right.
Your sexual preference to somebody being hung in a tree. There's no comparison to that. You know,
none whatsoever. But they had the caucasity. You know, to go around and criticize other people about human rights when they're the most racist, oppressive people on the goddamn planet. Get the hell out of here. That's where, you know, like I said, man, like the reason we like Paul Kagame, right? He tell you, you don't go telling others what to do and what they should and should not do, and what they are doing that is not to your satisfaction. I believe you shouldn't be belittling Africans or leaders of Africa who are trying to do their best. That's why Paul Kagame is one of the most outspoken African leaders who address the most unpleasant issues head on.
Right.
All right. Despite the track record that they claim he has in boosting the economy of Rwanda and opening up the country for development, rights agencies have accused his government of denying opponents freedom of association, assembly, and expression, and forced disappearances, and among other things.
Wow.
All right. So they're kicking this propaganda out here that, you know, he's a dictator and he's holding people from from opposing him.
They always do that to anybody black that's trying to help our people.
That's right.
All the way from back in the day, Martin, Malcolm, the list goes on. You can pick any black person that wanted to help or do something good for the black community, and they become some type of villain in the process of helping. I don't get that.
Well, because anyone that speaks out, right, that speaks against what these Europeans want to come
their
in
agenda.
Against their agenda. All right. And see what Paul Kagame is smart enough to see
Right.
is that some of his own people
Right.
in his own country, all right, are getting backing from these jackals from Europe and America, okay? And so he shut them down before they get too far with that crap.
Right.
And let them know, nah, we're not going to have that. We're not having that here.
Wow.
Yeah. That's where WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
We're right with you.
Yaga. Yo, Paul, Raga, what's good, boy? Ain't nothing. Hey, facts all day. Believe that. Yeah. Yeah. Curling, what's good? Yeah. Thumbs up, baby. Good looking. Yo, we need y'all to go over there go subscribe to our, page, the Open Eye Radio Show. Where we got it at, Pat?
Oh, so we got on YouTube.
We on YouTube.
Send me a friend request.
Send a friend request and link up so we can start building up our, subscribers.
And subscribers.
Yeah, and subscribe, hit the like button, do what you gotta do to make it all come together for real, even on the streaming end. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
we appreciate you. You dig what I'm saying?
This is your third eye optometrist.
And I'm your intellectual surgeon.
Right here on WHGE 95.3, the Open Eye Radio Show. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Get 'em.
Yeah, buddy. Here we come. Here we go. Here we go.
Get 'em.
All right. One of the things that came up Thursday night.
What?
I'll give you a quote here from Dr. Ivan Van Sertima.
Van Soda what?
Sertima.
Sertima?
Ivan Van Sertima. Well, let me tell you this before I give you a quote.
What?
Dr. Ivan Van Sertima lived from 1935 to 2009.
What?
I think it was.
My pop birthday is 1935. He was born.
Yeah, my mom born 1934.
What?
Yeah, but
Wow.
he was a Guyanese-born associate professor of Africana Studies at Rutgers University in New Jersey. He's best known for his work that came before Columbus.
Okay.
Which provided a pyramid of evidence to support the ideal that ancient Africans were master shipbuilders.
This was before Columbus. He said
Columbus.
Came before Columbus.
They came before Columbus. Ancient Africans, like we told you. All right. Were master shipbuilders who sailed from Africa to the Americas thousands of years before Spanish explorer Christopher Columbus, and that Africans traded with the indigenous people, leaving lasting influences on their cultures. Ivan Van Sertima said, "We were trained to despise ourselves in all Africa."
What?
Yeah. We felt that Africans were either primitive or semi-primitive. That they had no science, made no significant contribution to civilization. We did not realize that we were looking at a looted Africa, a shattered Africa. We did not realize that there were two Africas.
Right.
Africa before and after the coming of the European. And it's something how that influence has damaged our people's psyche. Right?
Like for generations.
For generations. For generations, all right? This is an incident from Brother Ray Hagan. And Ray Hagan is a great historian, teacher, former Christian Baptist minister.
Right.
Okay? Who woke up to ancient Kemet. He said, "A woman told me that the reason why she knows that Jesus is real is because he transformed her life from what she used to be."
Okay.
She went on to say, "Muhammad couldn't save me. Buddha couldn't save me. Krishna couldn't save me. Only Jesus had the power to save me."
And how she died? Did she say how she knew that was Jesus?
No.
Or she just going on her faith and belief?
She going on her faith and belief.
Oh, okay.
And Ray Higgins said he tried to get her to use her critical thinking faculties by challenging her to reason and give some thought to what she had just said.
Right.
I asked her, have you ever thought about the fact that every Muslim, every Buddhist, every Hindu can make the same claim about their faith?
Right.
After all, what good is religion if there is no transforming power in it for its adherents? She hollered back. No, they can't. No, they can't. Muhammad didn't shed his blood for the sins of the world, and Buddha and Krishna didn't either. Only Jesus did that. Now she started preaching about the blood of Jesus. The only thing that could take away my sins was the blood of Jesus.
How old is Jesus?
Well, let me see. This is 2023, and he allegedly was born before AD, so would he be like 2,030 years old or something? You know, if you count up the mythology, who the hell knows?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
First of all, if you were so-called considered born, it's a conflict right there.
Right there. Okay.
You know.
All right. She said the only thing that could take away her sins was the blood of Jesus. Again, Dr. Higgins attempted to get her to think. Do you know this or do you believe this?
Right. Because there's a difference, a big difference in knowing and believing.
Yes, it is.
You know.
Well, she hollered back, I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And I asked her, how do you know that Jesus shed his blood for the sins of the world?
And he wasn't just bleeding.
And he wasn't just bleeding.
Or the pole.
At this point, her emotions are controlling her responses. Her cognitive dissonance is showing big time. Instead of answering my question.
She's getting emotional.
Oh, yeah. And instead of answering Dr. Hagen's question, she uses the deflection tactic. She yells, well, tell me, Mr. Know-It-All, what do you believe? We weren't talking about what you believe, sister. You know, and she hollered back, I ain't your sister.
Oh, Lord, she really mad.
Oh, yeah. If you don't believe in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, I ain't your sister.
Calm down, Mom. I ain't need to ruffle your feathers, you know what I'm saying?
You know, he didn't get an answer because she didn't want to hear anything else he had to say. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I had a sister ask me about my in my eye.
Okay.
And when I told her, she said, what is it? What was it? Yes, Jesus loves us. On the corner, she started singing hymns instead of listening to what I had to say.
Oh, Lord.
That's what. Now, this woman, this sister right here talking about the blood of Jesus. Obviously, she didn't read her Bible. Okay? Because she has strong faith and believes. Okay? And most of these people that believe, okay, they have not even read their own book. All right? Because if you would have saw, if you read the book, how reluctant Jesus was, all right?
Right.
To go on the cross. Right? Because he said, you know, God, your will be done, but if you could take this cup from me, I sure would appreciate it.
Right.
You know, and then he's talking about God, why you forsake me?
Right. Why you gonna do this to me?
Yeah.
I mean,
okay. Let me tell you something.
I'll do it, but I don't want to do it.
Right.
I mean, do I have to?
Yeah. Because basically, if you read it, what he's saying is, you know, because he went and prayed about it several times. You know, when somebody owe you some money, and you call them, and you was expecting that money because you needed to do something, and you call them and say, hey, you coming by? I'll be over there in a few minutes.
And they don't come.
And they don't come. And you call them again. And you call. That's what Jesus was doing. He kept praying. Can you, you know, hey, look, okay. And he told God, he said, look, Father, look. If we had a situation where, you know, we had this plan where I was going to die on the cross for these fools over here,
I really don't like them.
I changed my mind. I ain't with it. I changed. No.
Is it an alternative play.
Yeah, if there's something else we can do with this,
please tell me.
And then the Romans start coming, and the priests from the Jewish temple, they coming to get him and what have you.
Wow.
And he's like, yo, Father, what's up?
I know you ain't just leave me here.
Yeah, cause these fools over here, you want me to do this for them? Wow. I ain't with it.
Yeah, most people don't think like that. I mean, he gave all of us our own choice to either love him or the devil. And if you got the choice to do that, you got the choice to make the decisions about anything in your life. You know what I'm saying? So Jesus wasn't with all the things that he was put upon to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We all rebel.
Yeah.
That's
what
Jesus.
So the writers of the mythology
right.
was basically breaking down the humanity of the mythological Jesus,
right?
And giving him some sense of humanity,
right?
And to do what anybody else would have did, to say, I changed my mind. I ain't with this. That's what it is. See, and what I say about that sister, what I say about that sister, they do not know, nor do they understand. They walk about in darkness. That's what they do. They walk about in darkness. It's like Brother Nsoromma said, it's one thing to believe, it's a whole nother place to know. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. Okay, we just not. That's what it is. Okay. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. Something that came up during our discussion was a Tennessee lawmaker who called for lynching as a method of execution. A Tennessee representative is backpedaling after he suggested adding hanging by a tree as a method of execution during discussion this week in Nashville about a bill concerning capital punishment.
Well, they need to get that bill for themselves. I mean, if you can apply that for yourself, yeah, I'll be down to do that. But they trying to apply it for so-called poor people and, less fortunate. They got schemes all the time,
all the time. Now, with Paul Sorrell, Republican from Sparta, Tennessee,
right,
made the suggestion during the Criminal Justice Committee meeting Tuesday while lawmakers were discussing the bill and an amendment to the bill that would allow death by firing squad as an execution method in Tennessee.
Wow.
And he stepped up and said, I'm just wondering, how could I put an amendment on that would include hanging by a tree? Yeah, that's what he said.
You have out the spit.
Yeah, how about that?
Hanging by a tree.
Yup. Tennessee, like most of the South, has a traumatic history with hanging, and particularly lynchings.
I think that all the things that we as a black community been through, certain words should be banned, and such as hanging and stuff like that, and lynching. And, I mean, they are words, they trauma words.
Yes, they are.
To black people.
Yeah, they most definitely are.
And if we start responding to them trauma words, you say, yeah, you need to be lynched or something, and then we go and beat you down or something for that. Right. You know what I mean? Is that our fault that we felt as though you was going to kill us?
Word. You know that Tennessee Department of Correction used hanging as its primary method of execution until 1913.
Wow.
All right. That was their legal thing was until 1913. But they kept right on lynching people through 1950. All right.
Wow, that's only a couple years old, older than you.
11 years.
Wow,
almost in my lifetime.
Wow.
And Tennessee has documented at least 236 incidents of lynching between 1877 and 1950.
Wow.
And let me tell you something about lynching, too. Something that a lot of us don't realize, all right? Lynching became a practice after slavery. Lynching was part of the terrorism that white identity extremists
tried to apply.
Right.
Yeah.
Used to traumatize and oppress our people.
Wow.
Don't get that mixed up what lynching is about. Not only that, let us not forget about the picnic.
Oh, man. Of course. Yeah, Charity. They don't care about our feelings. You know that. You definitely know they don't care about our feelings. They don't care about nothing that we do. That's why we got to not care about nothing that they do. And stand up for ourselves. And protect our community and our families. And get our own guns and our own knives and our own tanks. You know what I'm saying? So we can have our armed forces to protect our own selves. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, they're going to come in your house if anything hit the fan. They're going to come in and kick your door in and take your food, take your wife, take your daughter, take all the things that you call your possessions. They did it throughout history.
Yeah,
so
throughout our history.
Right, throughout our history.
Now, this Sherelle, this sorry son of a
boo.
You know,
okay.
Yeah. And he tried to come back and say, well, it was poor judgment. And I regret it.
That's what they call it, poor judgment, Pat.
Yeah, he said it was poor judgment on his part. And he said, my exaggerated comments were intended to convey my belief that for the cruelest and most heinous crimes, a just society requires the death penalty in kind.
Well, they use that against themselves.
Although a victim family cannot be restored when an execution is carried out, a lesser punishment undermines the value we place on protecting life.
Wow.
And what he's saying is that, his suggestion was meant to express support for families of victims. And what he really meant is we gonna hang some black people and that'll make us white people feel a hell of a lot better.
That's terrible, man.
That's word. And this is the people that,
I can't believe it's 2023 and we still on this in our lives.
That's right.
This is a main topic in our lives right now.
Right now. And it makes me think of what Oprah Winfrey said.
What?
That, eventually these races will die out. No, they ain't.
No, they ain't. I don't think that will happen ever.
No, not when you got 5-year-old kids running. 12-year-old boy, all right, white boy, goes across the street to his black neighbor,
right?
Because he's mad at the little black girl
right
in there, with a whip and beat the door like the cops and to send her out because he gonna whoop her. 12 years old. Now where'd he get that from? Well, her parents went over across the street to his father, and his father pulled his gun out and said, you're talking bad about my son. Well, your son is a racist little bastard.
And that's taught. Because for the simple fact, this just happened to me yesterday. I was sitting in IKEA. That's where every kind of nationality is in there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I go get some food and sitting down, and it was a white lady sitting at the table next to me. You know what I'm saying? And my personality just sparks out regardless of what it may be, wherever I'm at. Anyway, she had a 1-year-old, 16-month-year-old, and 16-month baby, right? And this 16-month baby was studying, looking at me, playing with me from a distance, and smiling and laughing, right? And all of a sudden, the little baby got out of the chair and came over to me.
Okay.
That ain't racist.
No.
You understand? They have to be injected with racism.
Yeah.
Because that little baby at that time wasn't racist. She didn't know nothing about it. Not an inclination was in her body.
Right.
Okay? So from that incident, that's a prime proof that it's not the kids. It's injected into them.
Right.
It's taught to them.
Well, you know what? I had to go with what Jane Elliott said. Okay. If you were educated in America and you're not, as a white person and you're not racist, you weren't paying attention.
Okay.
Because the indoctrination teaches you to be racist.
Yeah.
All right. That coupled by what your parents are teaching you.
What?
All right. All right. So what happens is you get the ideal that someone like Hitler was an aberration. Okay? You know, Hitler is considered the most evil man in modern history.
That's because he ain't listened to what the white people wanted him to do. He did his own thing.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about this. All right? The history books tell us that Adolf Hitler was a deranged madman, a murderous freak of nature. Europeans would have us believe, like I said, Hitler was an aberration. Was he? Consider this. Hitler studied America's murder and oppression of Native Americans and blacks to learn how to subjugate and murder Jews.
And applied it.
Yes. Consider this. Europeans and whites depopulated the North American continent of its indigenous people, murdering millions. Right? No, Hitler was not an aberration. Okay? Hitler was the norm. What the problem y'all had with Hitler, because a lot of y'all, Henry Ford, the Bushes, the DuPont, they were down with Hitler and what he was doing. They were okay with that. Okay? So, no, he wasn't an aberration. He is the norm. He is just one of y'all. And the problem was, you know, who was going to control.
Right, it was all about control.
Right. And who was going to control the resources where? Africa.
And they just
That's what it comes down to.
Saddam, they got rid of Saddam like that. He was thinking the same thing, starting your own money, starting your own currency, not using America for nothing. We can charge them for whatever they get. Oh, you ain't doing that to us, America said. And look, boom.
Now, of course, every week we have innocent black people murdered or oppressed by the so-called cops. Remember that the cops come from the slave patrol. Never forget that.
Right.
Okay? And each time that these murders happen, the reaction to the murder is gauged. Is the reaction controllable? Can the violence be contained? Can the murders be made to be acceptable? And until the reaction is strong enough, until the consequences harsh enough to make it too costly for these race soldiers to murder black people, it's going to continue and probably escalate. Until we understand the use of propaganda and how to use it, the murders will continue to be justified. And we can't wait until we sit in some goddamn concentration camps to figure this out.
And that's where they had it. Did you know and notice all the concentration camps that they got set up around in our community right now? They just ready to be filled with people, and that's already gated up, already ready to go. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people.
Don't forget the King Alfred plan, okay? Because they're always ready, just in case we really get out of hand. That's why our black communities are surrounded by the interstate.
Right.
By the interstate highway, so we're easily accessible when these race soldiers come
They
in.
can shut it down. It's a full interest, and they can close that down and then get everybody inside of the catch and release.
That's it. All right. So like I said, we can be smart. I mean, we can be lucky now and then, but you can be smart every day, and that's what we have to do. You know, Malcolm X said, we're not just outnumbered, we're out-organized. We as a people, we got to get it together. And like we always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays.
Yeah.
Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority.
Who treat you as an option.
The Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Thanks for joining us.
Yo! Dirty, yo, You be saying so much to me, baby. But he be talking and I can't spill it to him because he's still doing his thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, yo, we've been at war without retaliating for centuries. And that's what it's about. We have to stand up and retaliate. If my brother getting stepped on, go help him from getting stepped on. Push the person off his neck. We got to start helping and just respecting, helping each other, man. Yo, this is Nsoromma, and this is the Open Eye Radio Show with me and Mr. Gibbs, or Mr. Gibbs and I.
And like I always tell you, global African supremacy. Okay? Because it was, and I know a lot of people think, well, that's just replacing white supremacy. No, no, no. We are not the same. Global African supremacy, because the world was a much better place.
Well, tell them why we ain't the same.
Oh, we ain't the same because we don't have fur. WHGE, hey, thanks for joining us, y'all. Thanks for joining us. All right, all right.
Thank y'all. Tune in.